I'll show you the screen. Okay. All right. Where's my thing? Okay, what is going on?
Miss Amy, I read these. I want to read. Please. Miss Amy. Please, I don't read.
Miss Amy, I'm late. I am Malik Sanabed. I get
a little late, but it's okay. Okay,
Miss Amy.
Your turn or change the book?
No, the language arts.
Miss Amy, I don't find my notebook. Miss Amy, I don't find my notebook. But
we won't write in the notebook, guys. We don't need the notebook. We only need the small red book and the big red book. Yes, we will be writing in the big red book. Okay. So why?
Miss Amy.
Yes, dear.
I didn't finish the last enter in page 289 and your turn. Not writing in the
Okay, I will show you. I will show it to you at the end of the session. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. You're welcome, dear. So we're not going to read anything. We're just going to go through the steps of writing a story. Okay. So if I ask you guys, when we begin to write a story, what are some things?
Miss Amy, I can tell you something.
Yeah.
My book, my language art is big. A language art is in it.
Okay. Just look at the screen. Just look at the screen, dear.
I only have the.
Okay, no problem. No problem. As long as you can see the screen. Okay. Now, if I ask you guys, when you read a story or when you write a story, what should I keep in mind? What is something that I need to keep in my mind when I start to write a story? Remember Lizzie? Remember Lizzie and her what did Lizzie like to do? Dalwin?
Story.
She liked to tell stories. And what did she use to write stories? Anyone? Can anyone think?
Me.
Yes, go ahead.
I know what tells the story.
What do you think you would?
She tells the story. I know she tells all the story.
Okay, so the story has to have one main idea and it has to have details. Okay, as an author, what do I have to keep in my mind? What do I use to make the story entertaining and interesting?
I know.
Yes. Yes, Kendra.
The characters.
Yes, to make the characters interesting, to make them fun, so you can add interesting details and events, right? So when the reader,
Maybe I can like any story I want
to make the reader have fun.
Yes, entertain them. So when they read, they want to continue reading your story. So what is the first step? And plus, we have to keep the story in order, beginning, middle, and end.
We first think about the story.
So the first thing you have to do is choose a topic. What do you want to write about? You have to choose a topic.
Like, write about Batman, Superman, any.
Okay, it depends. Yes. So when you start writing a story, you have to brainstorm. You have to use your brain. You have to use your imagination to create characters. You have to think of what your character is going to do, okay, to make it fun. So the first thing you do is choose a topic. Okay, you start by choosing a topic for your story. You choose your characters and you choose the events that your characters will be doing in the story. Okay, this boy, his teacher asked him to write a story. So he wants to.
I can't see the screen. Me too.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Do you see my story?
No.
That I write it.
Really? Yesterday the SMS wasn't opening, so I didn't see anything. Okay. So it says here, this boy will write a story about, let's see what the story says. Okay,
Amy, I can read or answer after you finish reading.
okay, go ahead, Lena. Read what Danny wrote so far about his story.
Okay, Danny's move. Danny will move to Texas. Nothing to do there. Tells friends at school. Friends plan a surprise. They make a book about Texas. Look for facts. Give Danny the book.
Okay, is this a story or just
No.
a list of ideas?
No, a list of ideas, not a
Yes.
story.
So he decides first. He chose a story to a character named Danny, and then he starts thinking of something that Danny will do. So he decides to add events. He just puts down or lists down events. They are not in complete sentences. They are not clear. They're not in order. Okay, so he just writes down a list of things that will happen in the story. So what will he do next? He will start to organize the events in the story. What's the meaning of organize? Means to put the order, the events in order, right? Remember, every story has to have a beginning and middle and end. The beginning has to be clear, so we know what happened in how the story started.
The
And then-
problem is Amy.
Yes, sometimes the story can have a problem. Okay, let's see how he fixed he organized his list again. So what did he start to write? He says a good story has a clear beginning. You have to understand that this is the beginning of the story, middle and end. So what you have to do, you have to organize. What did Danny do? He wrote the title of the story. He wrote Danny's move. That means Danny will move to a different place. And then he wrote some characters. Who are the characters in his story? Danny.
Amy, do we have a
Yeah.
project?
No, honey, no. We're just,
Danny, Jan, Tim.
yes, Danny and Jenny and Kim. Okay, and Tim. So what the problem in the story? What happened in the story that caused a problem? Danny thinks there will be
Danny
nothing
thinks there will be
problem.
nothing to
to do
do in Texas.
Yes. So he says, okay, I'm going to go move to a different place. But he has a problem. He said, oh, if I go to Texas, I will find nothing to do there. It will be
Miss
so
Amy,
boring.
what page?
385.
Danny will
Miss Amy.
move to Texas.
Yes.
There
Answer.
is nothing to do there.
Miss Amy,
Yes.
I can't.
This is not a story.
Jan,
You have to
Jan
understand.
and Tim went
Okay.
to
Malik,
saw
Lama, stop unmuting yourself.
Danny.
You want to read silently. Okay. Malik, this is not a story. You are the one. You have to understand the steps. So when you do your homework, you can be able to do it. It's not only about reading now, okay? So here we're reading how the boy fixed or organized his story in the story map. What is a story map? A story map where he writes the name of the story, the characters, the problem in the story, and how the story begins and what happens in the middle and how the story ends. Okay? So how did the story begin? The story begins that Danny will move to a different place called Texas, but he has a problem. The problem is what? What's
Miss,
the
what
problem?
again? What page again?
385. Okay, so he has a problem. He says, but when I go to Texas, he will have nothing to do there. So what happens in the middle of the story, he fixes his ideas. He says, Jenny and Tim want to surprise Danny. They will make a book about Texas. So what does his friends do for him? They decide to make a book that tells him about the place that he's going to go to, about Texas. The friends look for facts about Texas. They search for details. At the end, the two friends give the book to Danny. So here is this is called a story map. A story map helps you organize your story. Okay, you choose your title, the characters, the problem in the story, and the beginning, middle, and end. Okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? I make a chart. Why do I make a chart?
Write the story.
No, I write, when we write a story.
No, I'm sorry, for see who the title and the author like this.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right. Okay, so what do I do next? What's the next step after I finish the story of the map? I can look for things that give me ideas. Remember Lizzie, when her brother went to visit his grandma, she couldn't find any ideas. She couldn't think of anything. So what did she start to do? She started reading some of her favorite books. She started watching movies. She started doing things to get ideas. So if you say, Miss Amy, I don't know what to write about, I don't have any ideas, what can you do? You can use other resources. You can watch videos on the internet, on YouTube. You can read some of your favorite storybooks. You can, if you want to write a nonfiction story, you can use the encyclopedia.
Miss Amy, I can write fantasy.
Yes, you can write a fantasy story. Yes, of course you can. Yes, it's up to you. It depends on what kind of story that you like to write about. Fantasy.
I like fantasy.
You like fantasy. That means you like things that can never happen, right? So it can be more interesting to you. So here, what did this boy do? He said, he wrote a chart. He said, what else do I need to know?
Like ride a dinosaur like this. Something I'm loved.
Yes. Okay. So this boy, he wants to write maybe a realistic fiction because he wants to write about a boy that is moving, but the story is not real. So he needs to find details that can be real. So he starts searching for details about Texas, right? Because he said the boy's friend in the story wrote a book about Texas for Danny. So he tries to look for information. He tries to look for information about Texas. Okay, what else did he do here? He made a catalog. He wrote the front cover of this book. He wrote the author's name, the title of the story, and the subjects, like the main idea and what the story will be about. Okay, what else? What did he do next? He starts to find, he starts to add interesting details. He starts to add adjectives and adverbs to make his sentences more interesting, right? So when he adds them to his map, the chart, and then he puts them into a draft. Darwin, do you remember what a draft is?
Yes.
What is it?
I know.
Huh?
It's a big group of sentences.
Yes. Do you give the teacher, is this the last step of writing a story or no?
Yes, maybe.
The draft is the last step of writing a story? Huh? Who can tell me? No.
No.
Okay. So who can tell me what do we use the draft for?
But to check our problems.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, any other ideas? Senator, what do we use the draft for?
one is don't understand. don't understand. مش عارفة أقولها إزاي.
Well, Darwin was right.
One then don't.
We use our
the problem like this. The map of story.
no the draft. No, the draft is not the map of the story. What do we use the my question is, what do we use the draft for?
To check our problems.
Miss Amy, I don't know.
To check our
we can understand. Still understand or no?
No, you're mad. To check the problems.
To check the problems, to check the mistake, to check our mistakes, to see, but this is not the correct draft. This is just when we add some details to the story map. This is the draft. This is the draft. Let me show you the draft. This is what the draft should look like. Okay, the draft should be in paragraphs. Okay, what do? I make sure that the story has a main idea. Okay, where is usually the main idea? At the beginning of the story, to tell the readers what happened in the beginning and what the story is about. So the main idea is what the whole story is about, and it usually found in the beginning of the story, so the reader can understand what happened in the beginning. So what happened in the beginning? Danny moves to Texas. Okay, and then you start adding details about the main idea, right? Where is he going? He's going to Texas. What is the problem? The problem is
Texas don't have anything for do.
yes. So what does, and then he starts adding details, what his friends do to make him feel better.
The book.
They make a book
for Texas.
Yes. Okay, the people in the chat, if you guys are so busy that you have to write in the chat,
I'm still.
Leave the session and go write some in the chat somewhere else. Okay?
And anything.
Write somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so we use our draft to make our sentences better. You can add adjectives, you can add adverbs, you can combine sentences, you can check for mistakes, capitalization, right? These are all things that we do with our drafts. Okay? Okay. Who can see the paragraph or the draft on page
I don't have the book.
I know you don't have the book. Malik?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and read the draft.
Okay. The summer, Danny will move to Texas. Danny thinks there is nothing to do. After writing the check,
Mm-hmm.
Danny thinks there is nothing to do there. Tim and Jane plan a surprise for Danny. They will make a book about Texas. The friends look in the library to learn more about Texas.
But can I read?
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Can I read?
They read about Texas.
Janie,
Can I read, please?
read
I
at
want to read. I don't read.
store for kids. They read about the daily word, aquarium, yeah. It is the largest freshwater aquarium in the world. The next week, Danny's friend gave him the book they made. Danny hugged his book.
Yes, okay. So this is how the first draft. He will start correcting. He will start making his draft better by adding adjectives, by adding, let's see what he does. Okay. So now I don't know why the pictures are like this. He starts going reading sentence by sentence, checking for mistakes, if he indented, and then he started adding words to make the sentences more interesting. Like he said here, they will make a book about Texas. No, he changed it. He said they will make a book about fun things to do in Texas. Okay, so by adding words, it can make the sentence better. He also used describing words like adjectives. Instead of saying the next week, Danny's friends give him the book they made, they said he wrote the next week, Danny's kind friends. So he described his friends by being kind because they did something nice for Danny before he left. Okay, now let's go back and look at the draft again and see how we can make it better. If you guys can see what the picture says. So here it says, this summer, Danny will move to Texas. So, and he changed the title. He said, a surprise for Danny. Instead of writing, Danny moves to Texas, he wrote the title, a surprise for Danny. That's the title of the story. This summer, Danny will move to Texas. So what did they do here? Tim and Janie plan a special surprise. See, they added more like words or describing words to make it more interesting. This will make a book. They will make a fun book. They will make a book about fun things to do in Texas. Okay, here they can combine. They said Jenny and Tim reads a Texas tour for kids. They read a book about about Texas, so they can start adding more details to his to their book for Danny. Here at the bottom it says it's the largest freshwater aquarium in the world. What did they do? They added another sentence between it. It says Danny has always wanted to visit aquarium. So that's why they added this part. Okay, and they also added what?
And they're doing something.
Okay. Okay.
Miss Amy, can you
Mhm.
everyone
Miss Amy.
keep writing in the chat?
Yes, I okay, the people that are in the chat, you will be absent. You will be absent because you won't stop.
You can't close the chat.
Maybe next time. You guys are done with all your quizzes?
No.
Okay. Then I'll ask them to do.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna open the book, the small red book, to page 88b. Everything that we just did, we're gonna be writing a story map. Okay, we're gonna be writing a story map, 88b.
Miss Amy, after 20 days we go to
Miss Amy, I didn't get it. I'll go get it.
Okay, go get it.
Miss Amy, after 20 days we go grade 3.
You gonna go get what?
We go grade 3.
Oh, okay, great. Congratulations. Ready for grade 3?
No.
No, you have to be ready.
No.
How? Miss
Everyone
Amy?
is not unready. No.
Okay.
Everyone is making it.
Remember, every year you get,
Because we will have a lot of quizzes.
yes. Okay. So now
We
we're gonna
miss you,
open-
Miss Amy, and in grade 3. We miss you.
I will see you every day. Don't worry. Okay. So you have to make me proud. Look, open to your book to page 88b. We're gonna make a story map. Okay. Okay. As we said, a story map. A story map is like a map where you write the title of a story. You write the characters. You write the problem. Lama, are you paying attention? Okay. Like we just did with Danny's story. This is a sample. This is another example. So pay attention so you can
Miss Amy,
do
the big book or the small book?
the small book, guys, the small book.
And 88, yes?
88b.
I don't have B.
No, you have B.
I have B and I get the page.
All right. Okay. Yes. So
Small pages and
This
finish the
Miss
book.
Amy.
yes, that's it, honey. That's the one that I want.
The last page in all of the book.
Okay, guys, please just listen. All right.
We miss.
All right, guys. So this is an example this is another example that I will show you. You can write the same one, or you can write whatever you want if you understand what I just explained. So what did I do here? This is, remember, it says here answers can be varied. That means the answers can be different. You can write your own story, or you can write the story that I wrote. What did I write? I wrote a story about, the title of my story is Sarah Saves the Day. That means that's the name of my story. What's the name of my story? Sarah, she saves the day. Who are the characters in my?
Do we will finish? Can you get the
Yes.
page on the screen? I am bored. I want to finish.
Okay, Lily, I don't.
your sentence, your story.
If you want to
Amy,
write
can
it,
you get the page on the screen?
that is on the screen. It is on the screen, honey.
What's going on in the chat?
Okay?
Miss
Yes.
Amy writes up فوق فوق صار like
Yes. You can write the same thing.
very simple or given.
No, you don't have to write this part. This part, no. You can only write from the title.
Miss Amy. Asr, tell me. Robux are yes. هدي روبوكس لا اسكت هدي
Esther, enough. Okay.
It's take me, oh my god.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Medic, really. Okay. Okay, so the title. The
Miss,
title.
can we write our own story?
Yes, guys, I'm talking to you. I swear, I'm talking to you. Okay, you can just take a picture of this and to have an idea, to have another example, and then you can write whatever you want. But you have to follow the same plan or the same steps. You understand? I said this before. Okay, but today's.
I'll take a screenshot.
All right. Okay. But today's homework is 80.
Miss Amy takes
Okay.
But I didn't write yours. I just.
Miss, today's homework what?
88C. So 88C is different from 88B. This is just the story map where you will write the title of the story, the characters in the story, the problem that happened in the story, and the event. Event 1 is how the story begins. Event 2 and 3 is what happens in the middle of the story. And event 4 is how the story ends. Okay? We're trying to organize the story before we write the draft. What are you guys going to do for homework? You have a draft and you will fix the mistakes. You will make your story, the story more interesting, like we just did like we just talked about in the big red book. You understand? Okay. So again, what is the title of the story? Sarah Saves the Day. Who are the characters in my story? Jennifer, Sarah, Mrs. Ashton. Okay, problem. Jennifer, the problem in the story is Jennifer, she's a new student, but she's very shy. She's a new student and she doesn't have any friends and she doesn't know how to talk to people. So what happens in the beginning of the story? Mrs. Ashton introduces Jennifer. Everyone looks at her. Jennifer's face turns red. So in the beginning of the story, Jennifer, she comes to a new school and the teacher shows Jennifer to everyone. So when everyone starts to look at Jennifer, her face gets red because she's very shy. What happens in the middle of the story? Sarah goes up to Jennifer and introduces herself. A girl named Sarah, she comes and says hello to Jennifer and says, "Hi, my name is Sarah." She asks Jennifer to sit next to her. Okay, this is something that happened in the middle of the story. Sarah introduces Jennifer to some of her friends. So Sarah, she takes Jennifer and tells her, "Sit next to me," and she shows her other friends so she can have more friends because Jennifer is very shy. In the end, Jennifer feels better by the end of the day. She thinks her new school won't be so bad after all. This is a very simple story, a very simple example. Remember, a story map has title, characters, might have a problem, has to be in order. Beginning has to be very clear. The events in the middle should be in order and it should have a good ending. Okay? Okay, is your homework gonna be the same like this? You can write the same one or you can write your own story map. Okay, for 88C, you will have a paragraph and you will add words such as adjectives. You will check your mistakes and you can fix it properly. Okay? Any questions?
No.
Oh,
No.
yes.
No.
So that means I have to mute you guys for you to listen? Yes. Yes. Who said
Miss
Miss?
Emma, I can say something.
Do we
I'm on
finish?
Yes, we're done. Yes. Are you guys done?
Yeah.
Miss
Okay.
Emma, I can say to
No,
ask
I
something.
didn't finish, Miss Amy.
Finish? Okay.
screenshot.
ماشي.
Okay. So the ones that are done can leave. Go ahead.
ينفع نلعب الساعة 6 بالظبط.
Good. Outside the meeting, not now.
Miss, I'm finished.
Okay. Esther, leave. You're absent today. Okay?
Miss Amy, after this session, you?
No. Yeah. How many sessions do I need? No, only 2. Okay?
Only.
Okay. Done, everyone?
Miss Emma, I'm the event 3, event 1 for event 1 and the Amir as a homework. I realized this too.
All right. Okay. But
For
you,
me, don't write only the problem on.
Yeah.
The problem writing.
no, but if you said you wanted to write your own story map, you want to write your own story map? Okay, then you don't have to write this. If you took a picture of this, you can just follow the same steps. You understand? And you can write your own story.
I write this, and after I want think a story, and after write.
All
I
right.
write this.
Wow.
After think and write.
Miss, I can write.
Miss Emma, we have 2 pages. Is right in it. 88b. For I tell how that like this. For me and in the next B 88b. For I'm going to right.
Miss, I can write this story.
That's what I'm saying. You only have 1 page to make the story map. You can either write this one or you can write your own story map. Yes, dear. You can write. I don't know what you said, Anas, but you can write your own story map. Yes, dear. Okay, bye-bye.
Write this story.
Yes, you can.